Well, it's another beautiful southern Alberta fall day out here today. It's only about -10 with like an 80k north wind. So here you can see one of the casualties of Friday's west wind with like 150k. So lost the corner system on that pivot there. So yeah, I was hoping to go out and assess some of the soybean fields to see how much we left behind on the ground, but I think I'll kind of wimp out and maybe do that in a few days when it's supposed to be +10 and the wind will probably be 130 again. So we'll see. Stay tuned. Alright, and here's where potatoes go to die. So these were the potatoes that froze in the field. Roughly a quarter to a third of each hill was frozen, basically all the spuds on the top. So they've now been stacked on the ground here and surrounded by bales, and they're going to be mulched up and used for cattle feed in feedlots. So that's what happens with potatoes that have gone bad, fed to cows. Well, the weather sucks, so I think I'll just stay inside and I'll work on fertility recommendations instead for some of these fields and see where that takes me. That should keep me busy for a couple days anyways. So it looks like since we have some time this week, let's talk about canola seed treatments, why you need them, and the differences between them. So why do we need to be worried about seed treatments on canola? Well, canola is a very fragile seedling, and even with the best seed treatments out there, quite frequently in-field mortality as it germinates and emerges can be 30%. It can be higher than that as well, depending on fertilizer rates, stuff like that. But mainly it's to do with fungus infections, seedling rots, as well as insect pressure. Both flea beetles and cutworms are best to control through seed treatment, especially when you're in a rush in the spring and you're trying to seed. You don't want to have to hop out of the seed drill to go jump in a sprayer to spray 1,000 acres of canola because flea beetles have eaten half of it. So today we're going to look at a couple, mostly just the basics, which is what your seed is going to come with from the factory. So that's going to be Prosper Evergoal or Helix Vibrance, depending on the company you're buying from. And the extra options that you can usually get on that are going to be Lumiderm or Fortenza Advanced. And then you've got extra add-ons such as the biological stimulants such as Jumpstart. So first, let's take a look at Prosper Evergoal. So this is going to be your basic factory seed treatment on the Invigor and DeKalb canolas. Contains a groups 4, 7, and 11 fungicides, which is metalaxyl, penflufen, and trifloxystrobin. And it contains a group 4 insecticide, clothianidin, which gives good control on crucifer flea beetles. So with the Prosper Evergoal, you're going to get really good control of Alternaria seedborne, Fusarium seed and soil-borne, blackleg seedborne, and suppression of Pythium root rot and Rhizoctonia solani, as well as you're going to get really good control on cruciferous flea beetles for insects. Helix Vibrance is going to be your other main factory option, and that's made by Syngenta. It's used on Brevant, Pioneer, Cantera, DeKalb, and more different brands of canola on top of that. Group 3, 4, 7, and 12 fungicides, so lots of modes of action in there. Difenoconazole, metalaxyl M, fludoxonil, sedaxane are the fungicides. It has a group 4 insecticide, which is thiamethoxam, and that gives good crucifer flea beetle control. You're basically going to get control of all the same things with Helix Vibrance that you do at the Prosper Evergoal. Both of them really are very good stock seed treatments to build on as a start. Both very effective. Alright, so now we come to our first add-on, which is Lumiderm. Lumiderm is made by Corteva and is used on their canola, which is the Brevant, as well as on Pioneer Hybrid and Invigor canolas. It's a group 28 insecticide, cyantraniliprole. We just all call it Lumiderm. Gives enhanced flea beetle control on striped flea beetles, which are resistant to some of the other insecticides out there. Gives really good cutworm control, 35-day residual for feeding insects, low toxicity for non-target species, and that is because it's systemic, so it only affects insects that are chewing on it. And of course it comes with performance guarantees, and SRP retail price is about $9 an acre at the suggested seeding rate of 5 pounds to the acre basically. So the main competitor to Lumiderm is Fortenza Advanced, which is made by Syngenta, and it's an add-on for DeKalb and Cantera canola. Contains the same group 28 as the Lumiderm does, a slightly lower rate, but they make up for that by adding in the group 4 sulfoxaflor. Gives enhanced control of striped flea beetles, cutworm control, 35 days residual in total, for both those insects. Comes the performance guarantee and retails for about $9 an acre at the recommended seeding rates, which are about 10 acres to a bag. So I mean, you can bring that cost down if you're seeding at a lower rate. Some guys are using a precision seeder, seeding at 3.5 pounds. So your price on that would be substantially lower if you're seeding at those rates. So then we come to your last option for factory seed treatment, and that's the Jumpstart XL, which is made by Nexus BioAg. It's a live fungus Penicillium bilae, and it improves phosphate uptake, especially in cold soils in the spring, which results in more even emergence, higher vigor, and stress tolerance as well. So the only problem with it is you cannot really allow the seed to get cold or too hot, because you don't want to kill that biological. So it needs to be used the year of purchase and should be the first canola in the ground. That's going to be the most effective as a product. As well, you don't want to have any bags left over at the end of the season, because come end of June, retails don't want to take that back because we cannot return it ourselves. MSRP on that product is about $5 an acre as well. Last, we come to third-party seed products. So there's quite a lot of third-party stimulants and fertilizers that are available, and we can apply those for you in the warehouse before we deliver canola seed. So there's biologicals out there, live biologicals such as Excite Bio that we've seen really good results with. There's products like Lignodual out there, which is a biostimulant. ATP has a range of biostimulants and microfertilizers that can be applied on the seed coat. There's Quick Roots, which is another biological that goes along with the Jumpstart very well. And there's many, many more. So after all that, what should you choose for your seed treatment options? Well, it's going to depend on your area. Striped flea beetle pressure is rapidly increasing in southern Alberta. Most of you will know somebody who had to spray at least once for striped flea beetles. Many had to spray 3 times. When you consider the cost of that, applying Lumadorm or Fertenza at $9 an acre is very cheap in comparison to even one application with a sprayer of a product such as Pounce. If you have an old forage stand you're seeding into canola, cutworm pressure could be high, but cutworms are really almost impossible to predict. But if you've had them and you've lost a field because of them, you'll be inclined to use Lumaderm or Fertenza because of that. If you want to get into the ground early, or we have cold soils in the spring, then Jumpstart could also be a big advantage to have. Okay, well, since we're talking about canola seed treatment today, and Paige Newton from Cantera Seeds is in the office, so we'll let her talk about canola varieties for this year.
Hello everyone, thanks for letting me join you, Lyle. I really do enjoy your YouTube videos, and if you're not already following Lyle on Twitter, you should. Anyway, Lyle's asked me to talk about seed treatments. Cantera Seeds, we have 2 canola varieties that do perform very, very well here in southern Alberta. We have CS2100, which is standby. It's performed very well down here. It's straight cut and Roundup ready. We also have a new offering for 2020. We've got CS2600 CRT. It is early, straight cut, true flex, and club root resistance. So we're excited about that one. As far as seed treatment options for these varieties, we have 2. We work with Syngenta. We have Helix Vibrance as our base treatment, or if you need to or want to step up your game, we also have Fertenza Advance. Fertenza Advance has Fertenza in the formulation, which provides better cutworm. Well, it's a cutworm product, and it also is the Fertenza Advanced is a package that helps with flea beetle control, especially striped flea beetles. And then it's also got a better disease package. So a couple of options when it comes to our seed varieties. We've got some deadlines coming up, so I know you've had a difficult harvest and might not be quite ready to talk about seed for 2020, but there are some deadlines coming up, so hopefully the folks at AgroPlus can help you out. Thanks, and have a great day in ag.
Alright, so we're out here assessing the soybean field today, and there's still a little bit of snow on the ground, and it is currently snowing. So I was a little wrong about the windy weather that I predicted for later this week. But as you can see, there's still quite a lot of pods on the ground, and quite a lot of beans, and a lot of that is soybeans here generally tend to start podding pretty low to the ground. So you always end up leaving a few bushels behind on the ground, and the rest of it is just due to lodging. A lot of these greener plants just lodged in that first snowstorm and just never recovered. So that's the problem with soybeans. The maturity just isn't quite there for our area yet. They keep saying 5 years and they'll have a really good early variety for our area, and they've been saying that for probably 20 years, and I would say we're still 5 years away. Well, that's all for this week, so like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.